Update. Am I the a-hole for buying my daughter a locked storage bin? Original post. I, 53 male, have a daughter 17 female who I recently bought this big storage container for that has a lock. The reason being, our daughter has a job and likes buying her own food and snacks for herself. The problem is that her mom invites her aunt, uncle, and cousins over all the time, and ever since she started buying her snacks and leaving them in the pantry, they'd eat them without consulting her. She's asked them many times to not eat them, but they don't listen. For reference, she likes to order snacks from other countries as a way to broaden her horizons. She's also linguistically gifted and liked to try and read labels to help expand her vocabulary. These snacks can take weeks to get after she orders them again, and by then, her current snacks are gone. My wife didn't do anything, saying that since our daughter kept them in the pantry there for everyone, she then moved them to her room, and her cousins would go in when she wasn't and take them. So, I went to a hardware store and bought a big container with a lock, and for extra measure, I bought extra locks and drilled holes so that they could be used. Our daughter cried and thanked me because it was pretty expensive and not something she could afford. Of course, the cousins went to get more snacks and threw a fit when they saw it and realized the snacks were in there. They told their parents and they told my wife, and she's not happy with me, saying that our daughter should share her snacks with family and she's being selfish and will get fat. Our daughter is incredibly fit, does multiple sports and exercises all the time. She's far from unhealthy. I told my wife she could order her own, and our daughter was happy to tell her where to order them. But she didn't like that either, and told her that the chest needs to go, and that I should have consulted her in buying the bin in the first place. Am I the a-hole? Edit. The relatives are our daughter's cousins and aunt and uncle. They are my sister-in-law, brother-in-law, and nephews, and my sister-in-law is my wife's sister to clear up any confusion. The pantry is also fully stocked with food. No one is going hungry and just eating our daughter's snacks because they have to. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Your wife is well out of line. How dare she take your daughter's things? Your daughter works for these treats. Your wife has no right to steal them, and has no right to advocate her other family members steal them. Also, the fat remark. Just, you did the right thing. You are not the a-hole. It cannot be emphasized enough how important it is that Opie's daughter has a parent like him in her corner, especially since his wife clearly isn't. Yeah, hijacking comment for Opie to see this. Maybe also get a lock for your daughter's room. Why are they allowing themselves in when she is not there? That's not okay. Not the a-hole, but I would take it a step further and get a deadbolt lock for her room to lock it when she isn't there. That way, the cousins can't get into her room, and we'll have something else to complain about. I'll consider that. Thank you for the suggestion. They've always had a nasty habit of going in her room and snooping. It would be a good move. It would give everyone involved a message that your daughter has a right to privacy, and to have her boundaries respected. Why does your wife think it's okay to openly steal from her? Sounds abusive. I have also tried telling them all that they should respect our daughter's privacy, and that she works hard to buy herself snacks. My wife is of the belief that since our daughter is under her roof, she needs to share anything she buys with the family. Yeah, that's super crappy to disallow your daughter from having boundaries or personal possessions. It tells your daughter that others have a right to what is hers, which can lead to self-esteem issues, and people taking advantage of her even after she moves out. This behavior from your wife needs to be stopped yesterday. This is a hill to die on. I agree, and we'll have a conversation with her about this. It's become a big issue. And now for the update. My daughter and my brother-in-law both found my post separately. First, my daughter, who was sent it via a friend who knew the situation. She confronted me about it, and we had a very long talk where she admitted that when I'm away, her mom doesn't treat her well, and often puts her cousins/my nephews above her, telling her she should be understanding because we're far better off than them. I was aware that they would occasionally sneak into her room to take things or play, but apparently they go as far as to wait for her to leave for a few minutes, run in and grab what they want. Her mom also makes a lot of comments about her weight. For reference, our daughter takes after me, being taller with some more masculine features such as broader shoulders, while my wife is small and petite. There are many other things I won't say here that my wife has said to our daughter. I didn't bring it up at first, and consulted my wife in buying a lock for our daughter's door, which she opposed, even if our daughter said she'd buy it with her own money. She started yelling about how under her roof our daughter has to abide by her rules. The house is technically mine, not hers. She stormed off and immediately began telling all our friends and her sister and brother-in-law that I was being controlling and awful to her. The brother-in-law then found a first post and sent it to her, leading to another argument where she accused me of airing our dirty laundry to the world, instead of trying to communicate despite me trying to and getting shut down. Once she stormed off, I packed a bag as did my daughter, and we went to a hotel. Yes, we brought the snack bin, where we have been the past few days while I find a good divorce lawyer. My wife is still spreading lies about me, claiming I try to kick her out, and all sorts of other lies. I'm finished with her. I don't care what she says. I'll be divorcing her and paying as much alimony as she wants, so that I can keep my daughter safe from her. I don't care about a house or anything else. She can keep it all, and let her sister, brother-in-law, and nephew smooch off her until she's penniless. I'm sorry, this is not a happy update, and I doubt I will make one after this. Thank you for opening my eyes, Reddit. You're a stellar parent. Good luck. Definitely. When I read the original post, I thought they already were divorced. Don't know why I read it that way. I too am sorry to see the marriage end, but it sounds like it's for the best. Your house? Fight for it. Your daughter is safe while she's with you. But if that is legally your house, then you need to reclaim it and kick the lot of them out. Don't give it up so easily. My thinking too. Great dad and all. But the way I understand it, if you leave the house, you're signaling you don't want it legally. It's your house. With your daughter to testify with how her own mother treats her, no judge is going to award her the house. Get the divorce attorney and document everything your wife is saying. Also, you may be able to use your post to back up your claims of how unhinged your wife is. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my brother that I think he made a wrong choice regarding what happened to his daughter and current wife? This happened 6 months ago, but it still have a big impact on my brother. 7 months ago, my niece, 19 female, was involved in a big car accident. Several surgeries were performed and she was in a critical condition for a couple of days. It was really scary, and she was admitted to the hospital Monday morning. She was my brother's daughter from his ex-wife. At the same time, his current wife was at the end of her pregnancy. She was in labor and entered the hospital Thursday morning of the same week. She really wanted my brother to be by her side through the whole thing, and it took around 16 hours. My niece woke up for the first time Thursday at noon. There were her mom, my girlfriend, and I. She asked for my brother, but he wasn't there. Then she woke up again in the evening, but he still wasn't there. So the first time I saw her was Friday morning. Everything seemed fine and we were all happy. However, after she was discharged from the hospital to her mom's house, she completely removed my brother from her life. She doesn't answer his calls or even talk to him when he visits. Last week, he came to me losing his mind. He told me that his niece told him, "Why do you even care? I woke up from my deathbed and I didn't find you. Nothing should have been more important than staying by your daughter's side when she was almost dying." At the same time, his relationship with his current wife is also strained due to this, so he asked me to give my honest opinion about what he did. I told him that I think he made a wrong decision, and his daughter should have been a priority. But to be fair, he had a very bad luck that the only hours he wasn't there is when she woke up. He got angry and left. Am I the a-hole? Should I have told him that I agree with him so he doesn't feel more guilt? Now for the top comments. This was a lose-lose situation. He made a gamble and lost. As a parent, your child needs you. As a spouse, your spouse needs you. How do you choose? He was there but not when she could see him. At the same time, based on her reaction, there's some other stuff going on in the background that's not being said here. I can't give an opinion without knowing more backstory between them. If the wife and niece would both be equally distraught by his absence, then the brother's decision was a prudent choice. If he was with a daughter, then he was guaranteed to miss his wife giving birth. Whereas if he was with his wife, there was only a chance that his daughter would wake up while he was gone. There also is a decent chance that he wouldn't be there when his daughter woke up regardless, unless he was sleeping in her hospital room, which is a possibility but not forever. Not the a-hole. I understand wanting to be there to support your wife and wanting to see your baby being born, but that child will never remember his being there. But your niece will never forget him not being there when she awoke after nearly dying. I'm really shocked by the wife. I can't imagine keeping someone from their child's side when they were on the brink, and to force him to stay through the entire labor? Yeah, I can't blame your niece for needing space. I don't know how you come back from this. If your brother didn't want to hear your honest opinion, he shouldn't have asked you for it. I mean, birth can become a life or death situation at a moment's notice, whether for the mom or the baby. If it was her first baby, and especially if there were any complications / it was a high-risk pregnancy, I can kind of understand wanting him there and him feeling obligated to be there. What if she needed him to advocate for her? What if something went wrong? Birthing a baby can be a really scary experience depending on the circumstances. It's not just about seeing your child be born. I just feel like he was in a no-win situation. Can become. There's no question that childbirth can become a life or death situation. But his other daughter was in an actual life or death situation. Or at least that's how she perceives it. And that's how it reads. Not an easy dilemma for sure. But what's a husband going to do in a medical situation? I mean, really, what will he offer aside from comfort? This way, he chose to comfort his girlfriend / wife, who only had a potential to need it, over his daughter who certainly needed it. No a-holes here. How's that woman? I had an easy pregnancy and the birth went great. Until it didn't. My first child had been a C-section, the second normal delivery. And second was coming out. He got caught in some scar tissue causing me to hemorrhage. I did die on the table. And my husband had to make traumatic decisions in the spur of the moment. It was terrifying. Luckily, I survived. Without him there to make decisions, when seconds counted, I could have stayed dead. And my 2-year-old and newborn children would have been without a mother. His other daughter was in a coma. He had no idea she was going to wake up. In my situation, if he had been with his daughter instead of me, I would have not recovered. He was in a tough position. However, there was nothing he could actually do for his comatose daughter except watch her. He could help his wife. No a-holes here. I get why the daughter feels the way she does, but I don't think she's being fair. Dad was in an untenable situation and made the best decision he could at a time. Hopefully with time, daughter will realize that. I was wondering about this being possibly not an a-hole or no a-holes here until you said this. He had very bad luck that the only hours he was there she woke up. So he was there, just not when she was awake. The guy has a new kid being born and is juggling that with a kid unconscious with no telling when she would be waking up. And you come up with this answer? Yeah, you're the a-hole. Last story. Am I the a-hole for calling my sister cruel for her tattoo idea? Sister is 28, I'm 26 male. My sister Nora has always had a strained relationship with our parents, especially my mom. I am clearly not privy to the reasons because things are fine with me and my parents. When Nora went to college, she met her creative writing professor as a freshman and they got close immediately. They would do a lot together and worked closely on a few different writing projects. Nora never specifically said this, but it was obvious to anyone who saw them interact that they had a substitute mother/daughter type relationship, which hurts my mom a lot to see. I always thought she'd grow out of it or that the professor would move on, but 10 years later they were still very close. About a month ago, the professor died unexpectedly and it devastated Nora. She was really depressed over the holidays, which of course was all in front of my mom. It was a difficult reminder that Nora loved the professor as a mother way more than she ever loved my mom as a mother. She still talks to my parents and stuff, and they don't fight or anything, but Nora's very distant and doesn't tell them anything about her life beyond the bare minimum. My mom tried to comfort Nora, but Nora was doing her distant thing and didn't want comfort. Something unfortunate that happened to Nora is that when she got the call that she died, she was brewing tea, and in the shock of the news, she spilled boiling water on her arm which burned her kind of badly on her wrist. I think the burn was like on the borderline of 2nd and 3rd degree, and definitely still looked pretty rough during the holidays. Nora said it was especially hard because in addition to the physical pain, every time she looks at it, she is reminded of the moment she found out the prof died, which I totally get. I was on FaceTime with Nora, and she said she talked to her tattoo artist friend who said that the burn should be able to heal well enough to get a tattoo over it. Nora then excitedly told me about her idea, which is a type of flower that a prof gave her a bouquet of for her undergrad graduation. My mom was so embarrassed that day, because she didn't get Nora flowers, but the prof did and Nora was parading them around so happy, and it was a reminder of their connection. I guess Nora and the prof exchanged these flowers for every special occasions like birthdays, etc. So now she wants to get a decent-sized tattoo in a highly visible spot of something that will remind everyone of the prof. I told Nora that this seemed really cruel to my mom, who already feels cast aside, and like she's in exile from Nora. And that's without a constant permanent reminder. Nora kind of scoffed and said, "I can't believe you think you have the right to tell me not to do this," called me an a-hole and hung up. And is still not talking to me except for a very brief text saying congrats for a promotion I just got. My parents aren't commenting. My dad said I should have just kept quiet even though he agrees, and my mom made no comment, but seemed grateful I stood up for her. I feel like I was just being protective of my mom. But am I the a-hole? What you have described is the golden child and the scapegoat child. You being the golden child. Nora didn't get what she needed from her own mother, and was incredibly fortunate that another stepped in and took on that role. Take your blinders off and see. Ask your sister if she felt second best growing up, and be open and silent when and to what she tells you. Yes, you're the a-hole. You're the a-hole. Agree. Not much else to say other than it's okay for people to have meaningful connections to humans in life who aren't their parents, and honor them in that connection however they want. It's not her problem to deal with her mother's pain or feeling left out. You're the a-hole. Mind your business. Your mom being embarrassed because she forgot to buy her daughter flowers is her own damn problem. We can all tell you were mommy's golden child from this post. Your poor sister. I don't even think mom forgot anything, to be honest. She didn't bother getting her daughter anything, and then got mad that someone else did notice and value daughter's hard work. Info, my mom was so embarrassed that day because she didn't get Nora flowers. Why the heck are you so concerned about protecting this woman's feelings? Am I the a-hole for announcing to my sexist stepfather that I'll not be sharing my college funds with my stepbrother? I, 18 female, found out a couple months ago that I got into my dream school early that happens to be an Ivy League. I was overjoyed and my parents were happy for me too. We're not too well off, but my grandma saved up money for her only granddaughter's college fund, me, which is more than enough to fund my tuition. Now, I have a stepbrother, Damon, 19 male. He took a gap year? Not really. And he is going to college too. But he's going to a college less costly than mine. Honestly, he's only going to attend college because of his dad's incessant nagging. So recently, my parents, more like my stepdad, is bugging me about sharing my college funds with Damon. I don't want to, or else I'll have debt after graduation, and it will ruin all my financial planning after college. But last night at dinner was my breaking point when stepdad asked again. I said no. Then he said to my mom, well, anyway, Amy's a girl. Why waste that much money on her college? I completely lost it. I yelled out, you know what? I've had enough. First of all, it is not even your money to decide what to do with it. It's the money my grandma left for my college tuition. Besides, my gender doesn't define my intelligence. I got into an Ivy League, didn't I? Then Damon piped in and said I need to accept he's smarter, with a grin. Now here's where I may have been the a-hole. I said, at least I have plans and ambitions, unlike Damon who told everyone he took a gap year when he actually failed, which is true. Stepdad and Damon stormed off and my mom called me an a-hole. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. It's your money. You actually got into an Ivy League, unlike Damon. And it sounds as if you know enough to not insult someone when you're asking them for a favor. Again, unlike Damon. Your mother is an a-hole too, though. She should have your back. While the stepdad and Damon are like the mustache-twirling villains of this post, the real problem is actually Opie's mom. She should be protecting Opie's future and her college fund. She should be standing up for Opie when her husband and stepson insult her daughter. She should have intervened on Opie's behalf before it got to the point where Opie blew up and responded to their baseless bullying with cold hard facts. And she should never call her daughter an a-hole for standing up for herself. Not the a-hole if it's not obvious. The sexist, stereotypical stepdad and stepbrother are absolutely a-holes, but the mom is an a-hole and a failure of a parent. You would be the a-hole if you gave your grandmother's money to a person she did not intend it for. Did she scrimp and save for all those years for your stepbrother? No. She did it because her greatest wish was for you to go to college debt-free. So do what she wished. Your stepfather is trying to steal your money. He will try to pressure your mother to give it to him. Lock that money down, so only you have access to it. Not the a-hole. First of all, congratulations on getting into a school of your dreams. I'm sorry your mom is such a pushover. She should have stood up for you against those two bullies. It is money for your education and yours only. If your stepdad wanted Damon, or himself, to have less financial burden for his education, he should have done something about that. What did Damon do anyway during his so-called gap year? He should have worked to save some money for his education. But I guess he didn't think about that because he's being made to go to college. Not the a-hole. Quick note, call the bank today. Tell them you need enhanced account protection to protect yourself against a family member attempting to steal your money. Many of the verification questions that a bank would ask to verify your identity are well known to your family members. If this ends up being unnecessary, then no harm, no foul. But when your mom is on board with you having to give money to your stepbrother, you need to protect yourself. Next story. Am I the a-hole for choosing my senior cat over my sister and potentially allowing her to become homeless? I will preface this by saying that my mother treated my sister and I differently. I was always less than, while she could do no wrong. She'd always buy my sister everything she wanted, while I wore her hand-me-downs. I moved out at 18, worked through college, went no contact with mom and low contact with sister, and our paths diverged greatly from there. I now work in a field that pays well, while she is a stay-at-home mom. I guess I never quite got over this, and while I know the main a-hole is my mother, and my sister didn't really know any better, I still fester negative feelings towards both of them. I found Tom in a bag as a newborn kitten. He was the only one still alive, and I raised him over summer break when I was 13. Then, when school started, my mother got rid of him and I had to go through great and extreme lengths to find out where she dumped him. Took me a week to find him, and we've been together ever since. For a few months now, Tom hasn't really been okay, and has been slowly declining. The vet, however, based on a recent blood panel we did, was confident that he still have some life left to live, and said that he's by far the healthiest geriatric cat she's seen in a while. Thus, we decided to try out surgery to improve his quality of life, even though he's 21. This surgery comes with a price tag. I'm not in the US, but it's around 3 months' worth of minimum wage in my country. It won't set us back much, hardly an inconvenience, but we'll be frugal just in case complications happen. He's scheduled for Monday, fingers crossed. Anyway, my sister dropped by on Sunday, which was strange, as we've spoken since she messaged me a Merry Christmas gif on Facebook. Looks like her husband jumped heavy onto the NFT bandwagon, and they're kinda broke and a few months behind on mortgage, and asked if I could help out with the payments since they're at risk of becoming homeless. I said I'm sorry she's going through this, but this is not a good time for me either and listed the reasons above. I do not want to ever be in a situation where my cat's life depends on $100 that I cannot afford to pay. I suggested she got a job and maybe downsize/move in with mother while they get back up on their feet. She did not take this well, called me a C-word and a crazy cat lady that's going to end up alone, plus some other nice words, so I kicked her out. My mother and other relatives have been spamming me through the week for being heartless and caring more about an animal than my own flesh and blood. My husband says I could have just given her some cash to avoid the drama. And he's right, I could have. This is why I feel like I might be the a-hole, because in the end, the main reason I chose not to help is due to my childhood baggage. Not the a-hole. Have you asked the family that has been spamming you how much they are financially contributing towards your sister? Hope the surgery goes well, and wish a speedy recovery for Tom. Not the a-hole, but next time, just tell her no, OP. She doesn't need to know your reasons. And respond to all the relatives, thank you so much for letting me know that I made a wrong choice. I will let my sister know that you'll be catching her up on her bills. Between you and X and Y and Z, she should be able to remain home and not get a job, while also staying in her house. I suggest you all get in contact with each other to figure out what you can each contribute. You truly are amazing people. I would send the same message, with names changed to every one of them. And then, I'd create a chat you can jump out of, including your sister, and say, X, Y, and Z have graciously agreed to pay your bills. These people are truly amazing. I'll just off this chat and let you guys handle it from here. Then, leave and block them all. In the end, the main reason I chose not to help is due to my childhood baggage. It's enough of a reason to me. They treated you like trash, and now do they expect you to run to your sister's help with a smile on your face? Not the a-hole. I wanted to say that depending on the age, the sister might be an innocent here. But based on her unhinged reaction, I doubt it. OP, I'm not sure you did this because of the baggage from your mom. It sounds like you did it because your sister is a jerk. Not the a-hole. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not giving up anything for someone who wasn't willing to give up anything for me? My male 24 parents passed away when I was very young. I have 3 siblings, a sister and 2 brothers. All of them are much older than me. After my parents passed away, I wanted to live with either my sister or my second brother, but both of them made it very clear that they don't want me. I don't want to go with my oldest brother because he is our half-brother and wasn't close to him, and I lived in another city, away from all of my friends and the rest of our family, but he was the only one who wanted me, so I went with him. Unlike what I thought, my oldest brother is actually awesome, and I had a very good life. I still live with him. My other siblings didn't even bother to call much. This was just a short background that I thought might be relevant. Recently, my second brother lost everything. I don't know nor care about what happened. All I know is he is in a very bad condition. My sister left the country a few years ago, so my oldest brother is the only one who can help him. A few days ago, my oldest brother told us my brother and his family, wife and sons 11 and 17, want to move in with us for a while because they have no other option as his wife doesn't have a family. We live in a 5-bedroom house. My brother's room, my room, his daughter's room, his aunt's room, and our gaming room. So we have the space for them to move in. My brother said he doesn't want to force us to give up our space and wants us to figure out something that works for us. My nephew said he is fine with giving up the gaming room or sharing for a short time, but I said screw them. I'm not sharing or giving up anything for them, but my niece does what I say, so she is on my side. My brother said he is a bit disappointed, but won't force us to do anything. However, my second brother and his wife think we are selfish a-holes. Now for the comments. It is not your house, so are you really in a position to make decisions here? I don't feel like you owe him anything, but you should respect that your elder brother might not share your feelings and it is his house. Influencing a child is an a-hole move. I'm not sure about judgment. Yes, but he specifically mentions he was given the decision. Info, how old was he / what was his life situation when you were orphaned? Was he able to take you in? When he said no, did he say, I'm sorry, I can't, knowing your oldest brother would? Or did he say, no, I don't want you, not knowing what the outcome would be either way? The unknowns here make or break the story. He was 23, but he inherited a lot of money when our parents passed away, so he didn't have any financial problems. He didn't know my oldest brother would take me in. So he was 23 with a child. I think that not taking you in was probably a very mature decision. My oldest brother was 26 with 2 kids. Kicking your brother potentially into the foster care system when you have the financial resources to make it work? That is insanely callous. You're the a-hole, not because of not giving a damn about a brother who clearly didn't give a damn about you. You are the a-hole because you are interfering with your half-brother doing for your other brother exactly what he did for you, helping out when help is needed. As you said, your half-brother is an awesome person and the type who helps family when they need it. I wonder whether half-brother really doesn't want to take them in either, but it's easier on him to let OP look like the bad guy than to say no himself. Half-brother could overrule OP if he chose to do so. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling sister we can't be roommates because I don't want men I don't know in the hypothetical apartment? I'm 30 and she's 28. My daughter is 6, and I also work from home. I'm a single mom, widow, and I want to get info on 1-bedroom apartment I love. My sister tagged along, and in order to get a move-in special, I had to do another tour, and it was the first time she'd toured it. She already has an apartment, but loved the complex I'm moving to. Afterwards, my sister asked if I wanted to be roommates. I don't want a roommate. Keep in mind I've told my family about the apartment, and they all know I'm only looking at 1-bedrooms. I want to build my life, and this will be the first time having my own place as a single mom. Honestly, she also isn't dependable financially or time-wise. She also has a history of letting guys she barely knows come to her apartment and give them a key. I'm not judging as that's her choice, but I'm not okay with that all. So I just said reasons that I didn't think would offend her. First, I said no because you can't smoke grass there. She said she would do it on the balcony, and I said you can't because the complex is strict about it. It's a brand new apartment, and quality housing is hard to find here, so I'm not risking anything just so someone can smoke. She then said that she'd just go to a friend's house to smoke, and asked what other reasons do I have. At that point, I had to be direct, and say that we can't be roommates because I wouldn't be comfortable with non-related men in the apartment. And she got angry and asked me why. I have a very young daughter, I don't like being around men I don't know, so I only want to live with just my daughter. I want to be independent and have a stable lifestyle for the two of us. I said that I understand if she is comfortable with guys she knows, but I don't know them and will not be comfortable. I would only be okay with our dad, brothers, and a trusted male family friend that would only visit, and I would pay to help with moving, putting furniture together, etc. She was mad, and then said that if it's her place too, then she should be able to bring the guy. Remember? This is a hypothetical apartment, and she knows that I only looked at and only getting a one-bedroom apartment. I told her that I understand, but I don't agree. So that's why I can't live with someone else because I'm very strict about that. She then said whatever, and acted mad towards me. Edit, I should have explained why it's an issue. I'm big on safety and taking precautions. My daughter likes to visit and sometimes sleep the night and just hang out with her aunt/my sister. I allow it since sometimes I go, and my sister lives alone. If I have to go to my office for a few hours on weekends, she sometimes goes to my sister's place. When my sister told me that she gave a guy her key for a bit, it made me feel uncomfortable, so I nicely suggested that she gets her locks changed. Keep in mind, she told me she knew this guy for maybe 2 to 3 weeks. My mind went to my daughter. What if this guy made a copy of the key and randomly comes over, especially when my daughter's there? When I said that, she got mad and said a guy wouldn't do that. Again, I nicely explained that she doesn't know for sure, and I'm just concerned about her safety. Not the a-hole. Your only mistake was continuing to explain anything to her. No is a complete sentence. You could have followed it with, because I don't want to. Yeah, I should have kept it at that. I thought by explaining it, she'd understand and not think to bring it up again. And you are 100% right to think of your safety and that of your daughter. Your sister can do whatever she wants, and go her. But let's not be naive. Strange men will be left alone without sister in your home, potentially with your child. I had a roommate in college like this once. I woke up 2 times to random guy in the living room demanding I make them breakfast because she had told them I would. I'm pretty assertive and made them leave. She got angry, but I told her if it ever happened again, she would come home to her crap on the lawn and locks changed. I was the leaseholder while she was a legal sub-renter. The office of the building knew this. I had already asked them about this, and they said, yup, they would come and change the locks if she put my safety at risk. A few weeks went by, and her crap ended up on the lawn and we never spoke again. I honestly don't care what she did, but she needed to be escorting her guests at all times. Leaving strangers alone in my home while I was asleep? GTFO. Not the a-hole. Setting boundaries that feel good to you is always a good thing. You're protecting yourself and your daughter physically, emotionally, and financially. People who get mad about boundaries usually don't have good boundaries of their own. Or they're mad about losing access to whatever they were leeching off you. That makes a lot of sense. I have firm boundaries, and she gets mad when I say no for things that she regrettably agrees to do.